Hello and welcome back to a Kooky corner of YouTube. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this fabric tag or something like it, and these are being made specifically for the great big little Stitchery swap that's being run by Annie Claxton. So go and check out her channel if you want more details on how it all goes about. It's a swap situation where we find swapsters. That's what we call people who are swapping with us, and send our beautiful tags all over the place. You can send them just in your own country, or you can send them to different countries if you choose to. But that's all explained by Annie in her video, so I will link that below. So if you're interested in having a go, pop over there, have a look at the deets, and then you can hop in and find your own swapsters. But my video is just how I'm going to put mine together. There are many ways of putting together a tag. This is just going to be the way that I'm going to use. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the dimensions of this tag are going to be 2 inches by 4 inches. That's basically half of the squares that we did last time, half the size. And it's just such a fun way of putting a little bit of stitching down and sending it to a friend. Anyway, 2 by 4. So the first thing I did was to make myself templates. Now, this is the standard template 2 by 4 size on a piece of scrap card. This one, I went a little bit fancy and did the cut off of the edges there. So you can do it either way, you can do it neither way, you could go even more fancy if you want to. That is entirely up to you, but the standard size is going to be 2 by 4. So that is still 2 by 4, even with its little triangular edges cut off. I just like that shape. I just like the extra, I don't know, it appeals to me. Right, okay, having got these templates measured out, basically it was just cutting this square in half. That did it for me. This is an old Scrawler Box prompt card that I had hanging around in my drawer. The next thing you need to do is decide what you're going to have as a base. And by base, I mean it's going to be like a sandwich for mine. So I'm going to have fabric on top, a base layer or a middle layer. This is the middle bit of the sandwich, and then fabric on the back. Now, what I've found to work really well, I've got some really thin, cheap craft felt that is quite stiff. It's got some stiffness to it. It feels a bit like an interfacing. So I'm going to be using that for my middle bit. You could use ordinary felt. You could use a stiffer felt with a bit thicker. The reason I've gone with the thinner felt is that I'm mindful of how thick the finished piece is going to be, bearing in mind that these are going to be sent across the world. I've got a couple that are going to New Zealand. I've got a couple that are going to America. Mainly, I've got a lot in the UK, so that's not going to be too much of a problem for me. But the cost tends to go up when you go over the letter size. I think it's 5mm is what you need to be looking at. So this is a 1mm felt. So this will work, I would say, fairly well for most of the times, unless I build up my piece to be really thick. I mean, I can keep it really flat, but you know I like my embellishments. And I think this one actually fits the bill perfectly well because I've kept it flat on the back as well. Okay, so we've got our tag templates. We've got our middly sandwich part, and now we need to get some fabrics. Okay, so I've cut myself out some middles from varying colours of this stiff 1mm felt, and now I'm ready to start laying down my fabrics. I've got a whole pile of fabric, scrappy bits here. Just got to decide what colour to do. Let's go with a pink. Why not? Let's do that one. So, doesn't really matter what colour your inner is, to be honest. Absolutely covered up in the end with fabric, so it doesn't matter too much. but if you like to be matchy, you know, go with it. Okay, looking through my scrapadoos, seeing what I've got. I had some little pieces here. I'm going to go through my scraps and pick out a few things that I'm going to use my tag. You don't need much. You really do not need much for these. What you do need, maybe, and what I'm going to do, if you look on the back of this, I've done a one-piece back and then just a small little decoration on the back of that, because the backs are going to be shown. So I have done it that way to cover up my stitching on the front, and so that it hangs nicely and you've got a little bit of interest on the back. So you do need a piece that's going to be fully that size, if you see what I mean. Okay, so I've picked out my fabrics from my stash. It doesn't matter if they ever hang a bit, that's absolutely fine. I've got my little pins here. You could use a little bit of glue to tack them down with if you like. I like these little applique pins. I found a pin I actually get on with. I'm just going to pin these down a little bit here, just to make sure that they're all secure on that base. The one in that corner, I think. Yeah, maybe I'll corner that one as well. Okay. So, in this way, I have my pieces on my tag. Right. I shall turn it over and I shall see if I need to trim, which I do. So I'm going to trim the corner, and I'm taking it right to the edge. I'm not leaving any overhang, and that's going down there to there. And on this side I just need to trim a little bit of this side off, tad, and the corner. We're good to go. So I've got more scrappage pieces there. I think those are maybe too tiny for anything, but the rest will be fine to save. Okay, now we've got this down, I'm going to do my usual method. I'm going to do my usual method of sewing through it all. So what I did on this one, I actually did a little bit of sewing that way, and on this one I didn't do too much. So you can do as much or as little as you like. Let me find another one where I've done my usual business. This one here. So I stitched all the way up and down it to keep the pieces together. Basically, you can do however you like, however you put your pieces down, you go with that. This is what I'm going to go with now. So I'm going to find a thread to use. I think I'm going to use this one, which is a really nice wonderful one. Getting to the end of this, I need to get some more. I really enjoyed this thread, as you can see. Used my fabric scissors there to cut thread. Should not have done that. Never mind. So going to need a needle and some thread. And my needle case here, I have got my needle, which is that one, and threading it up. Now I'm going to mark on my piece. In fact, I might even punch out on my piece where my hole is going to go, because mine are all going to have eyelets on them, because I have a crocodile. If you don't have you don't have to put a hole here at all. You could just literally stitch in your hanging tag. You know, you don't even have to put a tag on it, I don't think. But I think it's nice so that people can display them. So I'm going to do my hole with my crocodile so that I know where not to stitch, because if it comes to the fact where I'm doing the hole afterwards, then I won't have anything in the way of it, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I've got my crocodile out. I've got the 3/16 hole punchy bit there, and I've set it to where I want it to be, so that when I put my tag in, it literally just goes to there and stops, and it won't go any further. I'm going to grab a little chalky mark here, and actually it's not going to show up on there, is it? I know, I've got this. And that's just going to mark where I vaguely want my hole to be. So let's punch in that in one. If handily on the top of there, you've got a little hole so that you can see. I don't know if you can see through. There's a hole that can see where my hole is that I've just marked. Making sure I'm vaguely in the right place, and then I'm going to crunch it through. Now this is kind of meant for paper, but it works. It works fine. So I've now got a lovely little eyelet hole there. So I can see where I don't have to put stitches. And now I'm going to stitch. I'm just going to stitch this top bit for now because I want to add some detail into the bottom bit. I'm really into the flowers at the moment, and I've got some nice flowery pieces that I can use. So they're not all going to be this way. I'm going to decorate them all different ways, but this is the basic technique that I'm going to use. All the things I've just showed you will be how all of my tags will be made. It's when you're doing a few things like this, when you're doing things for a challenge or a prompt, it's nice to pare things down and keep things a little bit simple. Otherwise, you could get completely lost with the amount of detail that you're putting into something and find that you run out of time. There is plenty of time to do this challenge, by the way. Most people will start stitching perhaps in October, because it's kind of running from October to December. So it's the end of December. So the 31st of December is when your tags need to be posted out. So you've got plenty of time. And that's what slow stitching's about, isn't it? It's about enjoying the process. But you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself. So keeping the process fairly simple, or having a routine with how you're going to put them together, even though they all may be slightly different. Having some kind of putting together routine helps with, time and management, should I say. Okay. So I've got that first bit down. Where are my thread cutting scissors? That's what I want to know. Okay, I'll use those for now. Okay, so I can really take that pin out of there because that's not going to go anywhere. So now all I need to do is to decide what decoration I'm going to put on this bit. And because I don't want to do unnecessary stitches, I mean, you could just go around and stitch the whole thing if you want, then you know it's all down and safe. But I'm quite happy not to do the unnecessary bits. So I'm going to grab out some circles, some pre-cut circles. If you know, you know. I do like cutting circles. There's something very, very satisfying. I freehanded these ones. There is something very satisfying about cutting out a circle. Trying to decide which one I'm going to go with. Oh yeah, I like that one. So I'm going to put my circle about there. This is me in my planning stage now. I'm going to take that pin out from under there and put it in the middle of there. So in my mind now, what I need to do is to go around this bit, which I'm going to do now. How much thread have I got left? Not enough. You can choose different threads. Actually, I might go around this in an orange. Just because. Why not? Snip myself off a length. Thread it up. Obviously, these are my choices. You do you. You'll have lots of different things to me, so you'll be putting your tag together however makes you happy. felt makes me happy. I am a true 60s, 70s fuzzy felt kid. Again, if you know, you know. I loved fuzzy felts. Oh my gosh. I think I've mentioned before my love of fuzzy felt and how much fun I used to have putting them together, and that has never gone away. This particular felt is a pure wool felt as well, so it's 100% wool, and I do like working with wool felt because it's just so nice to stitch with. It's nice on your fingers. What's going on there? It's a pin. It's causing problems. Nice on your fingers, and it's just nice. Just generally nice to use. So, I've got my flower head going in here. That's what I'm calling it. It's going to be a flower. And all the way. This is just an oversew stitch. If you are not taking part in the great big little Stitchery swap, why not? No, I'm joking. If you're not and you just want to make some tags for presents, because I don't want to say that C word, but it's coming. Santa's coming. Yeah. So if you want to make some special gifts and you want to tag them or put a tag on them to give to someone, these are lovely, and they also then double up as a little ornament as well that they can hang on the tree. How cool is that? So if you do the great big little Stitchery swap, then you are gifting somebody a little ornament for their tree. There we go. Okay. So I've got that down. I can take that pin out now and get rid of pins as soon as I can, because, you know, pins, they like to jab you. Jab, jab, poke, stab. So I've got my flower. I've gone with an orange because I've got some orange in there as well. So I've got a little orange flower and some really nice trim. This trim that I've got here. So it comes in all different colours. So now I'm going to grab one of my little helping hands. One of my little helping hands is this guy. It's the gem tack. And just to hold it in place, I'm going to just put a little squadge of that in there and press it onto there. And that will hold that in place nicely. You could actually just stick it down with that if you wanted to, but I am going to stitch this, so I'm going to get some more of this thread. I don't think I've got enough left on there. No, I don't. Where's the end? There it is. Cut myself off some more thread. And again, once again into the thread needle. I don't know what that means. I do amuse myself though. Good job. Not many other people get amused, but I like to amuse myself. Okay, so I'm just going on to the end of each of these petals and just putting a little oversew stitch there just to keep it down. I'm not stopping in between and tying it off because my stitches at the back are going to be hidden by fabric. Hurrah for that. My nails have been breaking recently as well, which is sad. I think it's because I've been in a lot of water. I've been doing quite a bit of in and out of water and swimming and such. And I think the summer sea salt does not agree with my nails. So they've been breaking recently. So I'm going to have to do something about that. I'll have some jellies, I think. That's just an excuse to eat jellies, isn't it? Yeah, I love the fruit jellies. So I think I might have some fruit jellies to remedy that. I don't know if you're the same. My mum, you know the jelly that you can make? Just to clarify, in the UK, jelly is kind of like a thing, it's got gelatin in it and it's like a fruit flavour and it sets. It's probably different from the US, I think, where your jam is jelly. I don't know, I get very confused. Anyway, this is like a setting jelly. And she used to make me eat a cube of the setting jelly every day to keep my nails good because of the gelatin in. Fun fact that you didn't really need to know, but now you do. Okay. Right, I have my flower. I now want to put a little stalk in. So, what colour am I going to go with? I've got some purples here, and I don't think I've got any purple thread to hand. So, improvise. I'm going to go this blue. I've got some blue in there. That's fine. It's perfect. Thread. Don't know if you can hear the rain. Our weather has suddenly changed dramatically. Yesterday was lovely. I was out and about at the seaside. Today, rain and grey. Now, I don't mind that because I quite like autumn. It's something that I really enjoy. Autumn days. I think I'll do a chain stitch actually. So I'm just going to chain stitch a little stalk on here. You can use very simple running stitch all the way through this if you want to. If you want to try out some other stitches. This is not a tutorial on chain stitch, by the way. This is just me doing it my way. And yeah, the weather's changed dramatically, but I do love autumn, so it gives me a chance to get out all my autumny clothes and buy some hot chocolate, get out my blankets. I am an autumn child. I was born in, well, my birthday's in a couple of weeks actually. So autumn is my month. I think I'm going to move that pin out of the way because it's annoying me now. Okay, I'm going to finish this off and then I'll be back to show you what else I'm going to do. Okay, some stems done. I've got two little felty leaves there. I'm going to use the same thread that I was using for the stem because I've got a fair bit left of that. I'll stitch these on. It's going to be really simple. I'm going to go from the base and I'm going to go to the top. Et voila! Now, sticking to my finger, I'm going to do a little bit of the going across there and then, oh heck, coming back up about there-ish, middle of my thread. Yeah, that's that one. And I'm going to go down there. Hold that down. I'm only going to do 3 of these. So, one across there, straight across to the other side. Come on, stay out of my way, thready thread. Need to go pull that too tight. Not a problem, we just have to go up and through like that. And then pull it down, back down there. Actually, I might just do 2. Why not? Okay, this one gets positioned a little further down. Gonna go in here. Then out here. And then stitch the other stitch. Into there. Up. Pull. and down. That's one bit, and then into here, and across, and then taking it up to the base there. I've got to pulled it too far again, so I've got to hook it around there, and down. Then I've got my flower. So you can add as much decoration as you like. Now you go, I'm going to add some decoration in between here, add a few more stitches. I might go round this in a different colour. I could add in a little bit of bling like I did on this one. So I've got a little square of fabric there, a little bit of bling. I've put some stars in there. You do whatever you want to do with this. It's up to you. So the next thing you need to do, once you've finished all of your stitching, is you need to, and I will grab my other piece, which is over here somewhere. So here's another one I'm doing. This one's all finished now. I have placed my fabric, or I haven't placed my fabric, that's what I was going to do next, is to place my fabric on the back. So let's do it on this one. We'll do it on this one. I'll just finish this off. Like so. So that's already adding the backing on. Now I need to get the fabric for the back of this piece. So you can see I'm making a few here at the moment. I've got in varying stages. Okay, so now that's going to be my backing fabric there. So I need to grab my pins again. And turn it over the other way, actually. Makes sense. It makes sense. Put it this way. So I'm covering the whole of the back up. Just need to keep it in place while I cut around it to shape. You could literally just use your template to cut to shape, but I quite like, sometimes your fabric will change shape and you'll still have to trim it down anyway, so it's best just to kind of keep it in place, have a look at it and trim it as is. So I'm going to trim it to there, up there, along there, down here, and down here. To get that shape there. So now we've got the backing. And what I'm going to do now, now that I've got the backing, is to go back in with my crocodile. And let's get this eyelet in place. So I'm going to where I went to last time. I can't go any further, and I'm just going to crop that bit out. Very handy little tool, the crocodile, I have to say. Okay, and now we can set the eyelet. That goes through there, and that goes through that top bit there. Oh gosh, losing all the things on my desk. Just going to try and, yeah, it's a little bit fiddly. I'm probably making this a lot more fiddly than it needs to be fair. It doesn't need to be as fiddly as this. So I'm going to... It's so hard to do this under a camera. I'm usually got this in front of me, so I don't have so much of a problem, but I'm going to go with it. There we go. And you've got your eyelet in there. That's all ready to roll now. It's all pressed down, nice and secure. Right, so the next thing that I will do with this is to blanket stitch all around the edge. That's what I'm going to do with this one. If you want to, on this back fabric, you could do just a little something like I did on this one. It's got a little leaf on there. So I could, for example, bit of spare. material. Oh, I know, I could use this. What I'm going to do with this, you could even put your name on the back if you wanted to. The choice is yours, but I'm just going to do a simple heart shape. Cut off some of that there. And freehand a little heart to go on the back. Little wonky heart there. Trim that edge off there. And I managed to get that bit there. That's one of my little wonky hearts. And then I'll just either stick that on or sew around it. And then blanket stitch all the way around to hold it all together. And then you're all ready to add in your ribbon, thread, tag, whatever, to finish off your piece. And that's how I'm going to do all of mine for my swap pieces, and I'm going to do some for presents as well. And I also had another idea that these would be great little key fobs as presents. So if you wanted to make some as presents and put a little key fob on the end of it, also a great little present idea. Maybe you've got a few people, you know, that you want to give a small present to, and I think that would be a great idea. Or it could be a little stocking filler even. All these ideas. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed having a little look into how I'm putting my tags together, and I hope you pop over to Annie's channel. And Annie is also, I think, going to be doing a putting together video for her tags as well. So it's nice to see different methods so that you can pick and choose and decide which one suits you best. Anyway, that's enough from me. I hope you've enjoyed this. Bye for now.